sharpens everything up, and away you go. Today is a very good day. I'm driving a Porsche Boxster, roof down, good weather, on a mountain road in Mallorca. It doesn't really get much better than this, you know. However, before any customer gets to experience this, they have to go through the painstaking procedure of specifying up their perfect car. And as with any Porsche, that's a tricky and costly business. And now that decision is even more difficult for both Boxster S and Cayman S buyers thanks to the launch of the new GTS models. They cost around £6 more and come with some unique front and rear bumpers, plus a 15 horsepower upgrade to their 3.4 litre engines, which means the Boxster now has 330 horsepower and the Cayman 340 horsepower. The GTS models also feature a feast of extra kit, which you may or may not want to fit to your S anyway. And so today, I'm going to try and find out if the added value of the GTS makes it a no-brainer to upgrade over the S. For instance, you get the Porsche Sports exhaust as standard, and normally that will cost you £1,530, and you definitely want that because it changes the sound of the flat six engine from this which is pretty nice, to this. I'm going to press the button. Which, yeah, I think that's nicer, and it even makes this noise when you kick it down a gear. Was that thunder? I definitely don't see rain clouds. The GTS also has Alcantara and leather trim on the dash. If you want hide on the dash of your S model, which you do if you want the car to feel as posh as it should, you'll need extended leather, and that's a £1,740 option. So already, if you were buying a Boxster S, you'd have spent over £3,000 on extras anyway. However, things are about to get a little bit confusing because the GTS comes with some items you wouldn't necessarily want, such as smoked rear light clusters, £320, wouldn't bother with those. Then there's the Sport Seat Plus, £546 for those. Now, they are nice, but they're not really necessary. £447 for directional headlamp beams. You've got to be kidding, right? No way am I buying those. £971 to go from the 19-inch to 20-inch alloy wheels. And they do look nice, don't they? But I'm going to end up curbing those. And when you add all those options up, they come to the same price pretty much as the satellite navigation system. And quite frankly, I'd rather have that because it'd be more useful every day. All that I've just said about the Boxster applies equally to the Cayman. But there are some other extras I've not yet mentioned which affect the handling. And after all, that is what this coupe version is all about. The GTS also gets Porsche Active Suspension Management as standard, and normally that would cost you £971, and it's an option you definitely want because it lowers the car by 10mm for improved responses, and because you've got adaptive dampers, when you're just cruising along with it in normal mode, it's nice and comfy. And then when you press this button down here, it sharpens everything up, and away you go. If you regularly take your car on a circuit, then instead of the active suspension, you can have the Sport chassis, which lowers the car by a further 10mm but has fixed rate dampers. It's great for track day junkies, and if your name is Walter Roll, but forget it if you mainly drive on the road. Last but not least, the Sports Chrono package. Now that would normally cost you £1,085, and as part of it you get active engine mounts, and what they do is hold the engine firmly in place when you're braking, accelerating or cornering, and that apparently improves the car's balance, but I think I can live without that. I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to be able to discern that when I'm driving out on the road. I'd rather Porsche fitted the car with the £890 torque vectoring, because that will improve the amount of grip you have. Sports Chrono also includes a stopwatch on the dash, which you don't really need, a slightly sharper throttle response and a more lenient stability control system, both of which are items you won't miss either. Cars with PDK gearboxes also get launch control, and that enables the Cayman to sprint from 0 to 62 miles an hour in just 4.6 seconds. And to activate it, it's dead easy. Put the car in drive, put it in Sports Plus mode, left foot on the brake, mash the throttle, it says launch control, then you release the brake. And away you go! Thing is, the only time I ever use launch control is to give a demonstration to you guys. In everyday driving, I've never used it once, so it's pointless. That brings us back to whether the GTS is worth a £6,000 premium over the S. Well, seeing as you'd only need to spend £4,000 to get the right optional equipment, you're effectively paying £2,000 extra for a GTS badge, some unique bumpers and an extra 15 horsepower. Do you know what? I'd be lying if I told you I could feel the extra 15 horsepower out here on the road. I'd also be lying if I told you that I really cared that the GTS badge had a bit of history attached to it. For me, I'd rather take that £2,000 and spend it on the excellent PDK paddle shift automatic gearbox. And so, for me, the GTS isn't really worth it. I'd be better off getting a normal Cayman or Boxster S and speccing it up exactly as I want it. However, that's just my opinion. People who want to be able to say they own the ultimate Boxster or Cayman won't have any trouble justifying paying the extra cash for the GTS. So I suppose the final question is, should you go for the Boxster or the Cayman? And quite frankly, that just comes down to, do you want a coupe or do you want a convertible? And personally, for me, after driving both cars back to back on these fabulous roads, I got a little bit more out of being able to take the roof down and the sharper dynamics you get from having the roof fixed. So in this particular instance, I'm going to take the Boxster. Click on the video windows to watch our in-depth reviews of the Porsche Boxster and the Cayman track battle. Click on the play icon to watch our very latest video review and on the Auto Express logo to subscribe to our YouTube channel.